The tie-in kids game era. I remember a time when nearly every new kids film or popular TV show would get a video game based on it, but these days those are few and far between. Do I miss tie-in games? Well, yes and no. You see, I do miss a time when tons of studios were releasing films left and right. Now I must really dig for something new to watch, and I feel like the thought of tie-in games brings me back to that time. But on the other hand, 90% of them were bad and were only made to help the movie sell. I don't know why they really disappeared though. I wish I could say it was because video games have better quality control, but they don't really. Honestly, most games these days release with like 50% of its content. If I had to take a guess, I would say it's not very impressive anymore. And with how big the mobile phone market is, they would rather sell you in with an app instead of spending tons of money to develop a game. And to be fair, we don't get enough original IPs anymore to warrant a tie-in video game. What would a Turning Red video game even be like? Disney films don't really scream video game to me. And that's really the only big studio releasing animated films, unfortunately. But neither did any of Illumination's films. Despicable Me, it's huge. I don't even need to introduce it really. It's an okay film that created one of the biggest sins of all time. At least Europe had to wait 4 months before Judgment Day. And of course, it got a tie-in game on release. Despicable Me actually has 4 tie-in games, 2 of them being apps, and the other 2 are proper console games. And since I have nothing to do for the next 12 to 15 minutes, I'm gonna play them all. And I'll start off by playing the first game. So on July 6, 2010, Despicable Me the video game released on the PlayStation 2, Wii, and PSP. I guess the Xbox 360 and PS3 weren't good enough for it, but the Nintendo DS did get a spin-off game, and I'll get to that in a bit. The game was developed by Vicious Cycle, which are infamous for only developing tie-in children's games, and they officially shut their doors in 2016. Their last game was Kung Fu Panda. What a way to go out. Anyways, that's enough talking, let's start the game. I get a glimpse of the loading screen, and this is the most terrifying thing known to man. Why is he just staring at me? Oh, and would you listen to that? They're playing the Despicable Me song. Now, when I finally take in what I'm getting myself into, I must select a minion. They just all stare at you until you do something. And if I keep waiting, they're just gonna keep their mouths open. This is where my journey to hell begins. So Gru presents the plan to all of his minions. He wants to build a rocket so he can steal the moon. So he must go into Vector's lair and a Bank of Evil to steal parts for the rocket. Even though from my knowledge this is supposed to be a prequel, but this plot is so similar to the first film if you ignore the whole adopting girls aspect. Anyways, we begin the first level and we get to play as Gru and adventure through his lab to find a rocket part. At the start of the game we are equipped with a freeze ray and wind gun. But later in the game we do unlock a web gun and magnet ray. Throughout the game, you'll be going through the same 3 areas: Gru's lab, the bank, and Vector's lab. And in each level, you'll do a platforming that'll involve using your weapons. Which the platforming feels fine, like it's nothing special and it's not difficult at all. But if you are not platforming, then you are in puzzle rooms. Which at first I thought this was kind of lame and just to give the game more fluff. As I progressed through the game and puzzles started to get more difficult and complex, they actually became my favorite part. I know this is going to sound like an insane comparison, but they remind me a lot of Portal. You must use your minions and try out different weapons on them to find the solution to a puzzle. To be honest, sometimes it did give me a good think. It's a lot of trial and error. I genuinely really enjoyed this. In the later half of the game, this was the only thing keeping me going, and there's not just one way to solve a puzzle, like you can do it at whatever needs necessary. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to like anything from this game, but most levels follow the exact same format. Go through platforming section, then trophy room and vandalize it. Go through 3 puzzle sections, go to another trophy room, and that's it. There will be the occasional vehicle section before or after these levels. These vehicle sections are really bad. Not only are they boring, but they're so poorly designed and feel so clunky. That's all I have to say about them really. After going through Gru's lab, Vector's lab, and the Bank of Evil 3 times, you finish the rocket and have to chase Vector to the moon. You get a really long cutscene. To summarize it, Gru is racing Vector to the moon. Vector gets to the moon first, none of them end up getting it. Vector gets stuck on the moon. The end. Also, for some reason, the minions are watching Woody Woodpecker, like the actual Woody Woodpecker show. Like, there's no reason for this, they're just doing it. And that's it. The game's pretty basic and took me 3 hours to 100% complete it, which was by total accident. But I'll give that to myself, so. The unlockables in this game are just extra costumes for the minions and Gru. To be honest, if the whole game was doing things in the puzzle format, I probably would have called it a good game. But the other sections in the game are boring and unexpired. The game has one more thing to offer, and that's multiplayer. But it's just the spaceship levels, but now they're split screen and you play basic objectives like capture the flag or fly through rings. What more am I to say about this? Remember, there is a DS spin-off. It's titled Despicable Me The Game, Minion Mayhem. It was released at the same time as a console game. This one is developed by WayForward. They're infamous for making a bunch of tie-in games and sometimes good games. And they still make games today. It looks like they're doing pretty okay. Well, let's start the game, shall we? Okay, damn. This music gets me really hyped. Why is it so good? It really helped give me an energy boost after having to sit through the first game for 3 hours. So again, I must choose between which minion I like the most. I'm happy they're using images rather than the 3D models, but I think I'm gonna go with George because it's feeling like a George type of day. Okay, there's Gru, but it's so hard to pay attention because how distracting the background is. It's so stupid, it's literally just a wall of minions. But Gru is threatening me, telling me his plan to stop Vector because Vector's trying to steal the internet, and then something funny happens. Now we're on the first stage. It's just a Mario Minis clone. Just now we have Gru staring at us the whole time while I play the game, and it makes me really uncomfortable. But look, I got Minion of the Month on this stage, which makes me pretty damn cool. But then after that, I proceed to never get Minion of the Month again. I don't really know what else I'm supposed to say about this game. It's just really boring. Like, levels get harder and you unlock more characters and stuff, and they introduce more mechanics, but none of that makes it feel any less shameless. Unfortunately, I ended up beating the whole game. Trust me, it doesn't get much better. But on the last world, the levels are absolutely brutal. Like, you'll just be playing the game and then your screen will start spinning every couple of seconds, making it impossible to focus on anything. I got stuck on Gru's house level 3 for 45 minutes. The levels play more tricks on you, sometimes they'll keep zooming in and out on the screen, and it makes me feel sick. I absolutely hated these last batch of levels, and I have no clue why I stuck around to beat them. The game is just so lame and uninspired. I shouldn't have invested this much time into it. If you do end up beating every single stage with a perfect score somehow, you unlock Minion Mania mode. I just did a cheat code for it, and yeah, the mode is fine. Just try to get all the minions to the door, like I haven't been doing that the whole time I've been playing this game. Yeah, I should have invested this much time into the game, and talking to you guys about it now, I shouldn't even be bringing it to your attention. The game has good music though. How can the Despicable Me franchise get any more uninspired than this? So, around the early 2010s, almost everyone thought mobile gaming would be the next big thing. And for a time, everyone was mainly focusing on developing games for it. In December of 2013, we got Minion Rush, a game to coincide with the release of the second Despicable Me movie. This game is developed by Gameloft. It is the most well-known Despicable Me video game, and it still gets updates today, but there's not a lot to talk about. It's just a Temple Run clone. While I am playing the game in 2022, and I'm sure it's different to when it released back nearly 10 years ago, it's just an endless runner. They have an objective mode where you could do small challenges like slide under something 5 times and then you get a loot box. This game is just having an identity crisis. It wants to be like Clash Royale so bad. It's very loot box reliant, and you collect shards of a character, and I don't even know what bananas do. Like, I can get 20,000 of them in a level, and then I don't get anything for it. There's also a battle pass system, which just sucks because you're not guaranteed anything. You just get loot boxes. I understand it's a mobile game, but I don't remember the game being this scummy when I played it when I was 12. I can't say this about all mobile games, but these days I have such a bad experience with them. They all feel exactly the same with the ugly menus and always having a premium currency. They drag you in for 30 minutes, but then slowly will beg for your money. And like, this game isn't even that good. It's just a time waster. There's no reason to ever spend money on this game. The costumes grant you no reward. I can't believe I just ranted this much about a mobile game. But I'm sorry, this game is targeted for 10-year-olds, and they don't know it's not okay to spend $10 on a Minion skin. Anyways, this game feels so different from when I played it back in the day, and I hope it's gone forever at some point. Despicable Me, Minion Paradise. It released on the 22nd of May in 2015, developed by EA for some reason. And I know you guys are about to kill me, but I can't play this game. It was taken off the App Store 5 years ago. On March 23rd, 2017, in-app purchases were disabled, and the app later disappeared entirely on the 22nd of May. If you ever think you have it hard, just think about what happened in Minion Paradise. Died on its birthday. Gone too. But hey, at least you could buy the Minion Paradise perfume, and even if I could play this game, I don't think it would have been worth it. Just look at it, it's as mobile game as a mobile game gets, and the game only lasted 2 years, which is crazy because the Minions movie released that same year, and that grossed over $1 billion in box office. Like, no one cared for it when the Minions was at an all-time high, so me, or anyone probably watching this, shouldn't either. At the end of the day, let's just let this video be an important lesson on why Despicable Me franchise will never work as a video game.